So here we're going to change out Ichiba camber arms for the SPC, because these ones are actually maxed out, the Ichibas, and they don't give us even close to enough positive camber to correct what we're running now. On this particular Z, we're bottomed out on stance coilovers, and we're probably running -5 camber, so we need a hell of a lot more to be able to correct it. And these two are actually maxed out, so you can see side by side. The SPL is almost an inch shorter, so that's a lot more camber correction, and you need that when you're this low. So we're gonna have to toss these, and these are kind of known for braking as well. So kind of also the weight difference is of mentioning. This one's like pot metal steel. Well, here it feels much more like aluminum, and the welds are much better quality all around. So here's where the stock arm placement is. You're going to need to take out this bolt right here and the lower bolt right here, which is the adjustment bolt, so only one side comes off. Once you've taken those out, you'll drop the arm out. And for the SPC, when you go to install these newer arms, you'll need to cut out a part of the subframe right here where everything bolts up. And you can see I've already put on the template which they provide. Okay, so to initially cut, you can see the blue side. This is the new part that we have to cut out. I'll use this bit, and I'll use that on the inside to start opening it up, widen it up. And this is for the first hole, the one towards the rear of the car that isn't blocked, so I can use my drill. And then I will chase it with one of these two. It's a round file, and they're very aggressive, and they work very nicely. It was not that much effort at all. And you'll notice these are smaller than the curvature I need to use to file out. So all I have to do is, hold up against the portion that I need to cut, make the cut happen. Take your time, do it right. And these stencils are actually almost spot on. They're really good. And then for the bottom of the cut, I'll flatten it out with one of the square files, and that makes a really nice clean cut all around. Look, kind of like filing more. So go ahead and line up the second mark. I use the flat part of the notches because you can't line it up using the other side. The other side has bumps, it just lines right up. This side you gotta line it up kind of with the crease here, and make sure you're going level. So adjust it very finely. Then use a clamp to get the stencil on there. Clamp it nice and tight. Then you got to carefully go in there with your marker, which if you're lucky it'll fit through the stock hole if you're using a Sharpie, just barely, and you can mark the other end.
Ooh, in this shot you can see the metal shavings coming off. Alright, about 3 hours have gone by. He's just finishing up. It took a little longer because this isn't his, he doesn't use his left arm as much.
Okay, so go ahead and put together the bolt with one of the washers on one side. Have the head of the bolt facing towards the back of the car, and thread it in so that the bolt is towards the bottom. Slide your other washer on, which this might take a little minute, and make sure the washer is flush up against the back, really nice and tight until you hear everything click and feel solid. Then you're going to test run everything through, and you got to make sure that this bolt will fully rotate around the back so you have full adjustability. And you'll notice mine got caught right before it sweeps all the way back, so I had to figure out which one that is and then keep filing until I can fully clear. So once you know everything's cut correctly, you'll be able to take the bolt and rotate it, and you'll get full range of adjustment. So when you're ready to install the new arms, you want to make sure that the threads are evenly gapped on both sides, and you can just turn one end to adjust that until they're both even. I went ahead and did the hubs assembly side first, because that side is a little easier to pull in. Once you go to bolt this side, it has more play. So I like to clean the threads on the bolts before putting them back in, so that when you go and spin the nut back on, it makes things a lot easier. So this bolt right here, you want 59.59 to 70 foot-pounds of torque, 59 to 70. And on the other end, you're going to want 48 to 59, 48 to 59 foot-pounds of torque. But for this one is a little special. You want the head to be towards the rear again.
Yeah.
So go ahead and slide the bolt in. And you're going to put the other washer on, of course. But when you torque this bolt, you have to torque it on the nut on the back side, which is rather hard because you can't get a torque wrench on it unless you have the rear sway bar off, which, you know, you notice we didn't do that. But I just got my torque wrench put on this side, and I gauged about how much force if I'm doing it equally until I hear a click. And that's how I torque this one. And again, that's 48 to 59. One thing on the new SPC hardware is the rear nut here on the back is a 19 as well. So it's both 19 and 19, and then on the hub is 17, 17, which the old OEM hardware is 19 and 17.